Imagine a guy creating his own planet Earth because he's obsessed with sciences, created life technically, and even bringing them up to speed, evolving them faster than normal in an extremely short amount of time, hours, because he's obsessed with accelerating people's evolutions. High evolutionary, hence his name, very appropriate. Don't be surprised if you hear me say that a lot in this vid. To the point where this new world he created even has its own Dr. Freaking Strange. The high evolutionary name is impressive and appropriate because he's literally a hyper-evolved human species or sentient being, like literally inhabits an armor. That's high evolutionary for you. It's just a lot of layers to this and nuance to this guy. A character that's obsessed with evolving everything, even evolving gods like Hercules. Like, imagine trying to evolve a deity. Can you imagine being so smart that you attend Oxford University? And he was very smart, even so smart to where he would make something to accelerate or speed up the evolution of different things, like his pet dog, for example, who he made stand up upright and have intelligence, but he had haters, experiments got killed. So he said, let me get up out of here and do my experiments elsewhere so I won't be distracted by detractors. Among his peers, his experiments provoked anger and hostility among his peers. So he said, let me get up out of this university to build a research center where he could carry on his experiments without those folks. With a buddy, he did so. They ended up building a citadel for advanced scientific research. So I'm not going to accelerate other beings. Let me accelerate my own intelligence capacity. That's what high evolutionary said. And increasing his own intelligence, he started making greater discoveries. Then he kind of got obsessed with evolving everything past their natural state, generally accelerating men. So then he made his own exoskeleton battle suit, technically. This suit right here, which you're going to see a lot in this video, high evolutionary. I'm not going to lie, when you're this smart to be able to evolve creatures to being smarter, it would be tempting to start kind of getting obsessed with it to see how far this can go. That's what he did, experimenting on animals and such. You know the quote, they say knowledge is power. He received knowledge from an inhuman scientist, digested it, and looked over it. I'm not going to lie, it would be kind of cool to be able to talk to your pet like, hey, how you doing? Fun fact, even back in the day, him and his hyper-evolved cow helped raise Quicksilver back in these earlier days. And the same goes for the Scarlet Witch. Ain't that funny? Before sending them off to the Maximoffs, because this was temporary. You can actually read about him here if you wish. Just know that this guy's freaking smart. And due to the fact him experimenting on himself and other creatures, he has a highly evolved brain which has been heightened to a limit of human potential, which basically made him to be able to commit all the memory recorded human knowledge, which gives him vast psionic powers of unknown extent, including ability to rearrange matter and stuff. So him evolving his brain to the fullest potential just gave him superpowers. He's the one that helped Ultron get a new organic body because of his intelligence. If you ever see high evolutionary in movies and you're wondering why he always has creatures or different looking species around him, that's why. He exposed different animals to different machines, evolving them and such. Like, we'll literally go as far as teaching them like in a classroom. I mean, this guy made beings that died in a crash, super powerful beings, after he got a hold of them. Made them into, one could say, gods. To the point, some of them can even give Thor-esque type characters some issues here and there. Made these beings called the New Immortal. Even had a clone of Thor. Yeah, so high evolutionaries had some crazy experiments over the years. He's one of those guys that see it as his duty to discover new sciences. In theory, high evolutionary technically could become an abstract or infinite type being because he's evolved himself to the point where he's not only evolving beasts, he evolved himself to the point where he no longer needed to exist anymore because he became the ultimate beginning and the end of human evolution, perceiving all that is and all that can be. He had no further reason to exist no more. But it's one of those things that don't stick around because the character wouldn't be no fun if he just stayed an infinite being that didn't interact with nobody. So yeah, they wrote up a way of saying the loneliness of infinity was not what he had liked. So he returned to this metal shell state, aka back to normal. But he could kind of become cosmic when he feels like it, although I'm not sure if he can actually fight while he's in this evolved state though. So it's like, does it really affect his power level? He just becomes one with everything and then he's basically eternity, and I guess, you know. It kind of reminds me of that live action movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson when she got evolved so much where she just became like a god because of her evolution. But yeah, one could say this could be a form of precognition because when you're this smart, you can kind of calculate every possible solution of the upcoming universe, apparently. Yeah, that's what happens when you got a super brain. I find it interesting that everybody talks about Black Panther and Iron Man's armor when it comes to being the battle suit kings, but nobody ever brings up high evolutionary. This dude has a crazy battle suit as well. Right off gate, you can get an idea of how crazy his armor is when characters that are the Superman of Marvel, like Hyperion, pulled his arm off like this. He was kind of able to make a gun like this right after it was ripped. His gun can blast characters like Hyperion like this, and it can make a shield to block his heat vision. Moon Knight's equipment even bounced off his armor to show his durability. The armor is so smart if he gets suicidal on his own. His armor is able to devolve certain beings, but he couldn't devolve the Hulk apparently. His armor is trying to prevent him from slaying himself by devolving the very earth upon which you stand back to its primordial beginnings. He can't even self-destruct if he wishes. His armor has been created to preserve his existence against any danger to my person, even if the danger came from myself. He has to literally battle his own armor. Somebody give this guy a medal for making a battlesuit that won't let him hurt himself. So naturally, when it comes to strength, his battlesuit gives him some pretty decent strength, but all of this is thanks to his own intelligence. So one can say his intelligence is what's strong because that allowed him to be able to do stuff like this. I mean, you can see here he strikes man beast. It's crazy to think about that High Evolutionary is such an appropriate name. He's one of those very versatile type of characters that I go over on the channel a lot, where he pretty much has almost every major power you can think of. Imagine making a battle suit and you make the battle suit not being able to fly. Of course, he can fly fast and light speeds. You know how Sabretooth and Wolverine and characters like that can sense people with their scent, the way they smell? Apparently, he can't do this with High Evolutionary. He would just basically reform. It's kind of hard to just take him out. The creator underestimated his own creation. Even at the heart of the sun, the armor would find a way to survive and preserve the protection of life of its creator. Like, he can literally be jelly and he will regenerate from it. His suit will go to extreme lengths, like how Isotope D saved his life on this one occasion and stopped his aging, would not allow his body to die. If his armor is completely jacked up, he can survive in like a spiritual state until the armor is good again. So yeah, this guy's pretty tough to beat for good. Mighty psionic beings like Moondragon try to go in his mind, he can kick her out. He has shown to be able to read minds like on some Professor X type of stuff, even reading Adam Warlock's mind. Most psionic beings or beings that are like this can astral project. At High Evolutionary is no exception to this. They take this evolving stuff to another level, to the point where that time him and Hercules were fighting and there was like some bullcrap going on where Hercules evolved beyond godhood too much. Remember how I told you earlier how he can evolve things? Evolutionary mechanism on his back is going into overdrive to where it malfunctioned to where Hercules evolved beyond godhood, to the point where one can argue they became some cosmic being type status. High Evolutionary became one with the galaxy itself. Like, they're literally space. They're literally in reality. Their minds and souls are woven into the very fabric of this reality. Cosmic being type status. Like, they literally became a black galaxy, which is actually a bioverse that is completely composed of organic matter. A reality shrouded from the rest of reality. A galaxy like of its own. They ended up being trapped by the Celestials and they ended up having to be free. And in doing so, yeah, they kind of had their human forms again, like their normal state, not being fused with the galaxy state. So one could say this is, say it with me, a temporary thing, but this is not the only thing you see in this video that's God tier. Let's get it. But yeah, back to normal. Honestly, he has super strength, but I would say his more impressive stuff is more on the energy projector side. He has a lot of abilities, but his blast power is ridiculous. Shooting from his eyes, messed up Ultron's girlfriend, dissembling her with his blast power through his hand. He's at least a powerhouse level being. Just with some good old-fashioned blunt force blast power, because in his occasions with Thor level, entities, sleep time, it lets you know where he stands. To really show how powerful he is, did like a little beam struggle with freaking Galactus himself temporarily. We know somebody like Galactus can blow away multiple galaxies and even threaten the universe or multiple universes, but he still got blasted back though. But it was temporary. Just matching his blast for 2 seconds is impressive. Or for 1 second or a millisecond is impressive. He talks about with the flick of a finger, he can disintegrate counter-Earth, a complete duplicate of Earth, and just instantly disintegrate. Either he talking about some beam on his ship or he just blasted away himself. He talks about Earth busting like it ain't really no big deal. This dude has stuff he can just put in stars to where he can just make the stars as a contingency plan. He built up, he can just make the star blow up when he wants to. Just as simple as that. A whole star, because he can. He has all kinds of gear, even special tranks, even the Incredible Hulk apparently. And it's not just for show or talk, they actually did work against the Hulk, these special tranks. And he just pulls out a black hole because he feels like it here. Like, bruh. He has guns that have energy that stop Banner from changing to the Hulk. And if he wants to, he can just free him with the press of a button with the same beam. Whether it be his suit, his spaceship, or whatever, all that stuff's linked to him. He can terraform entire planets or moons. In this occasion, the moon, though. He has tech, rays that move faster than the speed of light instantly across the cosmos, to where he was kind of trying to help out Galactus to where he doesn't really need to feed on planets no more by literally transforming him and evolving him with his ray. hence the name Evolving Ray, and turns him into pure inorganic energy because he'll never need to feed again. He has stuff that can turn Hulk into a banner with the type of technology he possesses. It's low-key implied he can affect ghostly type of entities, or one could say intangible type beings. I'm pretty sure he thought of stuff like this when he, you got to be able to think ahead and know that you might come across some ghosts in your time in Marvel, right? Picture the surface of a planet, right? High Evolutionary has the power to do this to all the life on the planet like that. Yeah, life wiped him away. He can change his size and grow bigger. This is seen when he's turned giant on multiple occasions, even being big as mountains, even turning big enough to battle Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a being that's extremely powerful in Marvel, so doing such a thing should not be overlooked. It's not something that just happens shortly. It's a panel for panel type of scuffle between these two. Characters like Sabretooth try to pull up on him, he can just hold him in place and he can't freaking move. Yeah, Sabretooth, you're not necessarily in his tier of power. Even goes as far as tearing out Sabretooth's nervous system. That's freaking nasty and terrifying. His manipulation is so crazy, he's the reason why he trapped Hulk and Hercules in this little bar that they had issues getting out of. They did eventually get out though. He has plenty of writer intent, blasting Hulk in this occasion, damaging him. Somebody give him a reward for being like Dr. Doom, being able to steal the power from the Silver freaking Surfer, making him crazy weakened, like completely devolved him into like a human-ish. He used Silver Surfer's cosmic awareness to reach out into the vast cosmos across the universe to find your master's greatest treasure. Imagine stealing Silver Surfer's power and making your own herald with the said power. It's natural for somebody this smart to have their own spaceships, and boy, not only can he find resources and then send them into space so he can store them or go to them later to check them out, he even has a spaceship, or one could say a space vessel the size of a small planet that's in the Black Galaxy. Talk about over the top. And he has a large one encased in ice. You can't be this smart and not have your bases of operations, or even multiple of them. All this stuff is at his disposal. I mean, he even has his very own moon he technically can use and make it fly faster than the speed of light. Imagine him flying this into you at light speed, talking about the impact. This guy created his own Earth, Counter Earth. He didn't want nobody discovering this Counter Earth. So he said, this other Earth was an experiment. Of course, he was thinking about just destroying it or making it invisible, but he ends up making it invisible. There's no point in really trying to banish a character like High Evolutionary, because it would be weird if he had all this technology and he didn't make some tech to where he could teleport. I mean, he's even teleported the Hulk away, very far away on some battlefield removal type stuff. Same with himself and others. Or he can just summon you like what he did with Adam Warlock. Hey, Adam Warlock, come here. He's one of those characters that lack appearances, but just because he lacks appearances doesn't change his power level. He's considered a powerhouse tier with Hulk, Thor, and etc. Hercules. And his tech can even make him more dangerous with hacks and stuff. He's really unpredictable. You don't know what the ray he's blasting at you is going to do to you. You don't know if you're going to have resistance to it. You don't know if it's going to teleport you away. He made a clone of Thor. There's just a lot of uncertainties. What about him do you think is the most dangerous that you've seen in this video? What did you learn new? He's an effortless planet buster. Wouldn't be surprised if he can blast away the solar system. He has devices that can make stars blow up. He talks about wiping out a planet like it's no big deal, which makes sense because he's fought Apocalypse, Hulk, Thor, all the major powerhouses you can think of, and even got W's via hacks or just raw blast power. But that could be just me. What do you guys think? Do you respect him? Thanks for the donations, guys. I will see you guys later. Respect High Evolutionary. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.